Welcome to Freedom Cast, where your hosts, Jordan and Miranda, show you how to get just a little bit more out of life. Are you ready to leave normal behind?
Hey guys, and welcome to our 5th episode of Freedom Cast. Today we are going to be talking about something that's very close to my heart and Jordan's heart, and that is weekly meetings.
Yeah, it's something Miranda and I have been doing for the past month and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been very much enjoying it. It's kind of weird when people ask, what have you guys been up to? Well, every Sunday we meet after church and have an official meeting where we discuss our goals and whatnot, but we definitely recommend it, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about what it looks like for us, and what it could look like for you.
Because at first it does sound very boring and very much like a task that you have to get through, but we actually have found that it's something we look forward to, and we kind of add a little pizzazz with it because we always go to Sheetz, the gas station, and get their food because we love their food, and that's kind of part of the deal. We go get Sheetz food, and then we sit down and we go over our goals, and you can really turn it into something that's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the point of it is to go over goals, but also to just have a reset and a check for the week. Hey, how did your last week go? What did you do to get movement on some of your goals? And what are you going to be doing next week? And Miranda and I have very much enjoyed that time and just being able to say, like, well, I did these 7 goals, but I struggled with this one. And maybe come up with some ideas that we can help each other, or maybe move away from that goal and say that's not as important right now. I have a very good example with that. One of my goals upon leaving work and going into freelancing and doing stuff for myself full time, I wanted to focus on doing audiobooks and recording audiobooks for people. It definitely was going to be a steep learning curve because it's something I've never done before, but I was very excited to kind of jump into that and get into that. But we realized quickly on, even just a few weeks into me doing this full time, is that my attention was better served elsewhere than trying to jump into that and do that. Now, I definitely haven't put that off the table as far as something I'm going to be wanting to do. But as of right now, we will look at it again every few weeks. But it's something that we're not doing right now because it just doesn't make sense for me. The whole point of that story is to say it can quickly help you realize where some of your goals might be going astray and where your focus should be. And now I could have gone into that a few months down the line and really spread myself too thin and not gotten anywhere with anything. But realizing quickly on and early on that wasn't going to be a good idea for me we're already seeing dividends just from doing this for the past month and a half. Does that make sense, Miranda?
It does. We really have benefited a lot from this, and we've only done it for 5 weeks now. So I know that, and we write stuff down too, so in a year we can look back and even see where our heads were at and what we were working on, what we were focused on. And it's also really cool because we talk about our budget and how we're doing financially, and then we talk about our goals, and we talk about any miscellaneous items that maybe, get put on the back burner during the week when you're working, and, so it really is such a perfect time to just bring up those things and figure out a plan for the next week, because without a plan, most of the time, things aren't going to happen. If you say, like, oh, I want to work out more. Well, that's so vague. If you have a weekly meeting and you say, I'm going to go running twice this week, and then you meet the next week and go, oh, I didn't do that, then it's very clear what you need to improve on and what you need to those action steps.
Exactly. And that's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to give you guys a clear picture of how we run those meetings and how we suggest that you start doing those meetings. It doesn't have to be an official meeting where you bring a gavel and, adjourn the meeting and whatnot.
Wear a wig, one of those curly wigs.
You don't have to do that if you want to. That's perfectly fine. We don't. We're actually not to that level of weird. We do officially start the meetings, and sometimes I'll bang a fake gavel on the table and to chuckles from Miranda. But we do that just to make it serious between us. Say, hey, we're meeting now. This is a very important thing that we both care about. But that's what this episode is going to be about, just sharing that with you. So we're excited to do that. And
I just want to add one thing.
Go right ahead.
You don't have to tell people you're doing this because it is a weird thing. Because I know we have told certain people, and some people are like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Or, you get varied reactions because it's a very strange thing to do. So definitely we are kind of gaining our confidence in talking about it to people.
Yeah, and it just made me think, not everything that we do or not everything that you do is going to work. I just think it's so important to keep trying new things and to keep growing and trying out different ways to improve yourself. And I think that's where we need to not be shy in sharing this, Miranda, because we're always trying to go to the next level with things. I think we definitely have gotten stuck in the past, which everyone gets stuck. And, getting stuck is so it's tough because sometimes you don't even realize you're stuck until after you get out. You're like, wow, I was in that for years. I was in that rut and I didn't even know. And I just think doing this and doing just different things is so good because it gets you out of that normal sense of complacency. And I think we can get there so quickly and so easily, and we don't even know. It's happened to both of us. We're definitely not perfect with that. I'm sure we'll look back at this in a year and say, wow, we did the meetings that way. Like that wasn't, we could have done better. I think, there's always things you can do better, but I think it's so beneficial just to get started and just to do something like this.
It's always important to be growing and learning new things, to be challenging yourself, because if you're not growing, you're just, you're losing ground. So it's so important to have those clear, have those meetings where it's clear and concise and you can see where you've made progress and where you need to have more progress.
Exactly. So, Miranda, I'm trying to remember myself. How did we actually get into doing this? What happened? Did I just say, hey, we should meet every week, or?
I'm pretty sure you heard it on something. Somebody was talking about it.
Yeah, I'm
sure. On a
someone...
podcast or in one of your books you read. I think you kind of threw out the idea once we decided to leave our last job and make this move. You kind of said, this is something we should probably do because our finances are much more, up in the air right now. So it was important to have kind of a time and a place where we could talk about that.
Yeah. So I apologize for not being able to give you guys a link on more resources for this, but we will share our own story and how we suggest you do it. And it really, I don't remember where, if anywhere I read it. I just think what Miranda was saying is right. We knew things would be up in the air, and we knew that actually sitting down and talking about things officially once a week would just be a good idea. And then it just turned into more than that from there. But without further ado, let's jump in and start talking about how you guys can get started doing your weekly reviews. And any of these steps, feel free to modify to suit your needs. It's basically, it's something that's going to work for you. I always talk about that in my books and blog posts. If it doesn't work for you, then it's not going to work. That can seem so vague. Miranda, do you get what I'm saying? Can you explain that a little bit better?
It was very clear. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It's a good quote. I mean, that's brilliant.
For explaining that.
No, I think just what you're saying is that you need to adjust it so that it's something that you can do consistently. Because if you're not going to do it consistently, it's not going to work. It's like fad diets or, a juice cleanse or, I don't know, things like that where if you can't sustain it, then eventually you have to turn it into your lifestyle. It has to be something that you can maintain. So if the idea of a meeting just totally freaks you out, maybe, do it like during a walk or, do something that works for you so that you can be excited about it and continue to do it.
Yeah, if you don't want to call it a meeting, you can call it a jam session. You can call it a sesh. Call it
party.
whatever you want. party, that's kind of getting out there. But yeah, if you want to have a weekly party where you discuss goals, it's awesome.
Just doesn't even sound right.
Yeah, I think it's just, and that's what I mean by saying it has to work for you. I think and Miranda just made me think about the fat diets and stuff. And that's just stuff I mean, it might work temporarily, but it just doesn't work. And, if anyone wants to tell me it works consistently, you can tell me that. But unless you're doing that thing consistently for years, I'm probably not going to believe you, because fad diets just don't work. It has to be something where your lifestyle is changing. If your lifestyle isn't changing, it's not going to work consistently. It's just a fact of the matter. And
and we're huge proponents of taking small steps, drinking a little more water each week, cutting out a dessert, after a certain meal. We just are so big on that it's all about just taking those little steps and being able to maintain it and then take it to, that next little level, instead of just saying, I'm never eating chocolate again, which I can't even say that without a tear coming to my eye.
Literally just I looked at her, she just was almost freaking out because she said that. I was like, I can't believe I said that.
I love chocolate, and I know that it's more about me being able to eat it in moderation than me cutting it out of my life, because I know even if I said that within 2 hours, someone would offer me a cookie and it'd be all over.
Yep, and I just think, drastic lifestyle changes just don't work. So if this is going to be a drastic lifestyle change for you, just take it slow. Maybe meet every other week, or, just do it as it works for you. I think there are times where we need to get a kick in the butt and say, hey, you can actually do this. You can start to have these meetings. You can start to eat better. You can really make progress in your goals. But if you're going to think you're going to wake up the next day and be a master at this, well, that's just not going to happen. So definitely small changes, nothing drastic here. But I will start and share the first step that we recommend in doing these weekly meetings, and that's finding an accountability partner. I know the word accountability is about as exciting as, watching paint dry or sifting through sand to, find a sand dollar. I don't know if that expression works.
I've never heard that one.
Well, I just made it up for this show because it's a weird show. So if you're
everyone knows that's one of Jordan's favorite pastimes now, sifting through sand for sand dollars.
Yes, I do enjoy it. And, I found quite a few. But your sand dollar should not be your accountability partner. That doesn't count. I have quite a few. Actually, I don't have any. This is all just random and made up, but it's great. Okay. Find an accountability partner. That can be a spouse. We recommend, if you have a spouse, doing it with your spouse, just because that makes the most sense. If if you're in a relationship and you're not married yet, that's something you can do as well. You can start having weekly meetings with them. It can be a friend, it can be a parent, it can be a sibling. It could really be anyone, as long as it works for you. But having another person is absolutely necessary in this step. Don't even bother to go to the other steps if you're not going to at least do the first one, because if you don't have someone to bounce ideas off of and keep you accountable, it's not worth it. This is not something you can do by yourself.
Yeah, an intelligent pet would work as well.
Yeah, if you wanted to have if you had a sand dollar that was alive, that might work.
No, yeah, like you were saying, it's definitely important to have somebody that will keep you accountable, somebody that you trust, and somebody that won't laugh in your face if you say, hey, you want to have a weekly meeting with me? Because that, would be awkward. Yeah,
anyone that wants to just take that next step, and this is really about taking the next step in your life, setting aside time to really start meeting your goals. And you can even have these sessions to discuss what your goals are going to want to be overall. It's very good for that too. You don't have to start at this place where you have 50 goals and you're halfway to each of them. That's not what this is about either. I mean, it could be. I guess it could be either way. If you find yourself in that place and you want to start having more regular sessions to get further along, that's great. But I feel like most people are going to be starting at that point where they may not have a lot of goals yet, and that's fine too. And that's what this can really help with as well.
Yeah, you could make a goal to make some goals for the next week.
Yeah, Miranda and I love making goals, but we love making goals to make goals. It's just, that's just even more fun than actually reaching or making the goal itself.
It's like a dream within a dream.
It's like Inception, but like goalception.
I couldn't think of the name. I was going to say invention.
It's definitely not invention.
Yeah, so that's step number 1 is you need to find somebody that you'll be able to have these weekly meetings with, because if it's just yourself, it's so easy to tell yourself, I don't feel like it. I'm going to take a nap. So that's why number 1 is so important. Find an accountability partner.
Yes. Step number 2 is to pick a time. Miranda and I do our meetings on Sunday afternoons. So a lot of times we'll actually head to Sheets right after church. And we actually, as a side note, we call our meetings Sheets, and Sheets. I have a really hard time saying that, so I had to really slow down and focus on that.
Yeah, you could have passed that one off to me. He looked very focused.
Go ahead, say it.
Sheets, and Sheets.
Okay, that was impressive. Okay, we do it Sheets because we go to Sheets, the gas station, and get food there. Please don't knock it until you try it. Sheets has the best food of pretty much anywhere. Miranda and I are in love with it.
Schmisket time!
Yeah, Schmisket time! I love that. We don't ever get any Schmiskets there. I get a chicken tender sandwich. Oh my goodness.
I can't vouch for their Schmiskets.
I can't either. Chicken tender sandwiches? Yes, I can vouch for that. You got some boom boom sauce in there, some ranch. Actually, I never put ranch on it. That would be delicious. Wow. Okay, I'm going to try that next week.
So, yeah, you kind of got sidetracked, but we also call it Sheets.
Okay, you got a sidetrack. You're the one that said Schmisket time.
Because, we're using our notebook paper, sheets of paper, and then we use that time to wash our sheets too. We just wanted to add a third sheets, really.
Yeah, really, we just did sheets, and then Miranda said, hey, we can wash the sheets. Guess how many times we've actually washed the sheets at our sheets meeting? Once.
But it's enough to make us able to call it sheets, and sheets instead of just sheets and sheets.
So it was worth it. So our meeting is called Sheets, and Sheets, and we do it on Sunday afternoons. It doesn't matter when you do it, but as long as you do it at a consistent time every week, we think that's very important. And if you're going to shift it and change that time, it needs to be a unanimous decision.
Yes. So we actually started ours on a Friday, and then we were like, oh, that doesn't work because the next Friday we had something going on, and then we changed it. So now we're doing Sunday afternoon, and that seems to be working really well. So
yeah, and don't feel like you can't change it if you need to. We didn't really know what the meetings would look like and what that would really mean for us. So we decided on Friday nights originally, which looking back, that was probably a silly decision because why are we going to meet on a Friday night? We just went to Sunday afternoons just because most of the time we don't have much going on then. And then even if we do, we can kind of shift it to Sunday nights too. And it's just great because that's kind of like the week has already cooled down, but the next week is starting up. So it's a good break. Very easy way to keep track of what happened last week and then what's going to be going on this next week.
Exactly. So it definitely is. It's a work in progress to see what time works for you. If you love like a morning person, then that might be a good time to do it. It just depends who you are, what your schedule is. So it's definitely something that you want it to be consistent, but you can definitely, change it if it's not working, obviously. So step number 3 is prepare. That's very vague.
Okay, yes, it's vague, but it means prepare for the weekly meetings. And that just means, in general, in the beginning, get a notebook. And also, it means being prepared every week just to discuss your goals. And just knowing what you want to bring to the table that week. Personally brainstorm what your goals might be. You don't want to get to the meeting, and we've had this, and we're suggesting this because we've done this several times. We start out our meetings with talking about the budget, and there's been times where I haven't had that prepared and ready to go, and we're starting our meeting and then waiting for me to check things and calculate things, and then Miranda's just like kind of sitting there tapping her pen on the paper like, hey, we gonna get going here?
Yeah, and Jordan's really slow, so it's it's a struggle.
Yeah, I'm really slow.
Yeah,
I'm
so
really slow with computers and math and figuring that stuff out.
that's why he is working on computers for a living.
Yes. Maybe I should rethink what I'm doing.
I know. Come on. So, yes, that's step number 3, be prepared. It's also hard if you're not thinking about it throughout the week and then you're like, okay, what are your goals for this next week? And you're like, I have no idea. And I mean, I've definitely been a culprit of that a few times. So, yeah, I'll be like, Jordan, what's a good goal for me? I can't think of anything.
And then I'm stuck trying to figure out her goals.
So he has to prepare for himself and me and the budget. It's just crazy. So be prepared. It definitely makes it go more smoothly. But like we said, it's not something that we want you to dread. So don't stress out about it.
Yeah. And, okay, so that was step number 3. And that was prepare for the meeting. Step number 4 is have that first meeting and really talk in that first meeting about what your focus is going to be for the meetings. You don't even have to make goals if you don't want to. If you just want that first meeting to just be hey, this is what this meeting is going to look like. We can enjoy eating some good food. Depends on just what you decide to do with your accountability partner. Miranda and I chose our focus to be our budget, and that's the first thing we discuss every week. We did this because of what Miranda was saying earlier, because of our shift in jobs and moving and everything. Our income and actually what we're paying out is very inconsistent as well. So we're meeting weekly just to discuss that and just to make sure that we're both on the same page.
And we both really like to eat, so that's pretty much the majority of what we talk about with the budget is how much have we spent on food so far this month, because we both, let's go out today. We deserve it.
Yep, that's us.
We worked out, or I don't know.
We would be very happy to go out to eat every night of the week if we had the money for it, which is good that we don't, because we would probably. We could probably eat. Well, Sheetz is kind of a trek from here, but we'd go there a few times a week if money was no issue. And
there's a Brewster's within a mile of us. And that, I mean, you spend $10 for 2 ice cream cones there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It adds up. Yeah. So we discussed that just to try to get us going in the right direction for that week. And it's a time for just us, for us to come together and talk about our money. We very, very much believe in being intentional about where our money is going, and just deciding as a couple where our money is going. We have a joint bank account, and we went through financial peace about 3 or 4 years ago now, I think.
That's with Dave Ramsey. He's pretty much the only voice in Christian financial services, I guess.
And his stuff is great. I was skeptical at first, but, and we don't follow everything that he recommends, but we do a budget every month, and that's so important because we're able to see where our money is going. It's not a mystery. If Miranda needs to get something, or if I need to get something, that's something we can do. And it's not really, money issues are never really a contention for me and Miranda in our relationship, which I wouldn't have thought possible. But it is a wonderful thing about our marriage is that, and of course we have money issues. I'm not saying we don't have issues. I'm saying
we're poor.
Well, yeah, of course, we've always been. We're working on that, but that's okay. What I'm saying is we don't have, if Miranda or I needs to go get something, or if we need to pay for a meal, we just do it. And there's no, I don't think I'm saying that right. I'm just trying to say there's no contention between us if we need to go buy something because it's our money and we are deciding as a couple that it needs to go there.
There's no animosity or confusion involved with what we're spending money on because we talk about pretty much every purchase. For example, for my birthday, which was yesterday, Jordan allowed me to go out and spend some money on a shopping spree, which was really awesome. I really enjoyed it and it was great, but it was something, we talked about it. I don't go off on shopping sprees every weekend and then Jordan looks at the bank account and goes, "What?"
Yeah, and we're probably we probably talk a little bit too much about what we're going to pay on stuff. I know if I have to order something on Amazon, that's just like $20 sometimes. 20 bucks.
20 rupees.
20 rupees on Amazon. 20 bucks. If it's like $20 on Amazon, sometimes I'll hesitate to wait to talk to Miranda. And that's probably too extreme. I don't think that's necessary. It's just something we do because we've seen the value of being on the same page for every purchase that we make. I'll even discuss with Miranda the purchases I'm making for like my business and online stuff, which again, I don't think I need to do that. And Miranda even tells me like, I don't really care about that stuff. She enjoys like talking to me about it, but she's not going to like have a real opinion either way on if I need to get like a certain email platform versus another one. She's a good person.
Typically space out and then say, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, she says, that's great. That sounds good. I mean, I just use it as a space to just talk about it and, because I just want to make sure she's on the same page. But we definitely got way off track. But that's why our focus for our meetings is our budget. Now, your focus can be, if you're a parent, your focus can be on how you're going to interact with your kids. And, whatever your biggest goal is and whatever is going on in your life, it can be very customized to you. Spend the time in that, in your meeting, in that first meeting, discussing what that is going to be.
Yeah, if you're training for a 10K, that can be your focus every week. You look at how well you've been training, if your time's improved. Like you said, if you have kids and that's your focus, if you're in school and you want to, just knock it out of the park this semester, it's just, you can tailor it to whatever is on your heart, whatever is really important to you at that time.
Yeah, and if you're not sure what your goals are, make that your focus. Make the focus of your meetings coming up with goals and really just getting yourself unstuck.
So, step number 5 is you have to find the right type of goals. They have to be actionable goals. Like I said before, you can't have this vague, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. And, that can't be your goal. You have to have actual steps that you can look back and say, I did that or I didn't do that in this past week.
Yeah, that's just not good enough, chica.
So if you...
Chico. Either one.
If you put during your weekly meeting that you want to try 2 new vegetables the next week. That's a good goal because that's something you can very easily focus on and you can say with certainty, yes, I tried 2 new vegetables this past week, or no, I didn't.
Yeah, the goal needs to be something that you can actually do that next week. Like Miranda was saying, it can't just be a vague, non-actionable goal. You need to really have a look at your goals. If your goals are just very basic and very, one-dimensional, is a good way. Like, for example, we gave the weight example. Miranda was saying you could choose to eat better that next week, but it could be as simple as I'm going to the gym 4 times in the next week, or over the next month, I'm going to go to the gym 12 times. It just needs to be very specific steps that are going to help you reach your ultimate goal. And let's step back a second. Your ultimate goal can be to lose 50 pounds. That's actually a great goal. What we're talking about is in the meetings and in the goals that you're making, don't make that what you're going to do the next week, because that doesn't make sense. It needs to be a actionable step of something that's actually going to get you closer to that goal. Now, it's something that you both agree on. Going to the gym and eating better, in this case, are kind of obvious. That's going to help you get to your goal. But what else is holding you back? There very well may be other things that you're doing and other bad habits that are contributing to the fact that you haven't been able to lose the weight. So really take those meetings and take the time to delve a little deeper and to figure out what might be holding you back, and make your goals for that week very specific to getting out of that rut.
Yes, it is very important to have that big goal that you're reaching for. Like if you want to lose weight, or if you say you want to learn Spanish, that's a fantastic goal. That's great. Like using your mind and learning new things is just like fantastic for you. But that can't be your weekly actionable goal. Just, I'm going to learn Spanish. You have to say like, oh, I'm going to get like Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Or I'm going to, talk to somebody who knows Spanish for an hour. Or you just have to have goals that you can actually accomplish and not just some big, vague idea of a goal.
Yes. And moving on to the last step, that step is to be consistent. What that means is making sure you're weeding every meekly. Make sure you wheat meekly, Miranda.
I will do that.
Okay. No. Make sure you meet every week once you decide on a time. Be sticklers for that time. And if for whatever reason that time doesn't work, change it. Meet that week. Even if it's for 10, 15 minutes and that's all you can do, just make sure you have that time just to discuss your goals. And if you can't meet up with your accountability partner for whatever reason, email them. Have a weekly meeting. Get on a Skype chat. Just do something that is progressing yourself forward. Because before you know it, a month will go by. You haven't met and you haven't made much progress on your goals. I don't say that to say that's going to happen to you. I'm just saying that to say that's happened to us in the past for certain things. I mean, time can go by, can slip by so quickly without you really realizing it.
Yeah, and that's the nice part about the weekly meetings too, is it's a very, it's like an obvious point in the week, and it's just great to be able to say, this is kind of the starting point of this next week, this is what I want to accomplish. It's harder for the weeks and the months to kind of slip by when you're evaluating your week and kind of planning the next week, and it does sound a little intense, so if you do want to do bi-weekly or monthly to start, or whatever it is, it's just important to be consistent and to take that block of time and say, that is what I'm going to be spending my time doing that day. Because if you're not consistent, then you lose a lot of the benefits.
Exactly. And like Miranda said, you can do every other week or every month. You're not going to see as much progress if you do that. But if that's something you want to do to start, like we said before, make it so it works for you. So those 6 steps, one more time, we'll give you those. Number 1 is finding an accountability partner.
Number 2 is pick a time.
Number 3 is prepare for that meeting.
Step number 4 is have your first meeting.
Yep. And in that first meeting, discuss what you want your focus to be. That's kind of 4.5.
Step number 5 is have the right type of goals and make those goals be actionable goals.
And step number 6 is just to be consistent and make sure you are meeting at whatever time that you and your accountability partner designate to be your meeting time. So we hope you guys found this episode insightful and helpful. If you have any questions, definitely you can email us. That's jordan@jmring.com, and I will share it if you want me to share it with Miranda. We can do that too. I'll throw what's your email again? miranda.ring@hotmail.com. See, I got it. I usually just type in M and she pops up. But yeah, miranda.ring@hotmail.com. You can email either one of us or CC us both. That's fine too. We'd be happy to help you out as you get started on these meetings. We absolutely recommend it. It's been great so far for me to keep track of my website and business stuff. I've definitely made way more progress than I would have without it. Miranda just holds me accountable. She doesn't have to punish me or we don't have really any rewards or punishments associated with this. Now that's something you can have. We don't, just because if I tell Miranda that I'm going to do something, I sure as heck want to do it. And that's the point of that accountability partner. It's not for them to punish you or make you feel bad if you don't get it. And I think I've been guilty of making Miranda feel bad at times for not hitting things.
I missed a goal once, and Jordan was, he was a little tough, but
I think it's good to be tough. Now, I don't want to, we don't recommend, being mean to the other person. And I don't think I was mean.
No.
But I was like, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And we need to be on the same page with that. So make sure your partner is willing to be tough with you and kick you in the butt if you need to, because sometimes we need that. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. We know that. But we have to admit that there's some times in our lives where we need that. I know personally that I've needed that. And I don't want Miranda to have to kick me in the butt. So I make sure that I complete my goals, or I come up with a creative way to make her believe that I did my goals.
Yeah, and
I'm not lying. I'm just bending things a little bit.
Yeah, it is definitely, for me, it's easy to come up with excuses for, I was sleepy that day. So it definitely is good to, we kind of had to reestablish the importance of the goals and why we want to accomplish them, because I can get sidetracked, and it can be a challenge sometimes to stay focused on your goals. So that's why, like we said before, having an accountability partner is so crucial.
Yes, absolutely. So if you're going to follow those 6 steps, you'll definitely have some good weekly meetings. We can't wait to hear about them. So if you start doing them and they work for you, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure you leave a review on this podcast from whichever platform you listen to it on. The reviews will help this show get out to more people. So if you like it, please do that. And I'll have Miranda ask you too, because she's nice and you'll listen to her.
Oh, you want me to say it right now? Yeah, please leave a review. Please subscribe. If you don't like it, you don't have to leave a review. You can just ignore it.
Yeah, if you don't like our podcast, just like shut it off now. Just, don't say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, how could you not? How could you not go leave a review after Miranda just asked you so sweetly? I mean, she's probably the most wonderful person in the entire world.
Wow, that was quite the compliment.
I only said that so they're going to listen to you.
Yeah, we would really appreciate it. We definitely want to get out to more people and just share our positivity and our ideas and hear from other people. So if you have ideas and say, this would be a lot better if you did this, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. All right, we will end our podcast with that. We hope you guys have a great week. Stay frosty, New York City.